right. I am very excited to introduce my next guest today. I'm speaking with Dennis Costa. He is the owner of Avis, aka Who's Your Guy. You've definitely seen this guy on Instagram through your feeds. I'm absolutely sure of it. Dennis, how's it going?
Fantastic, Costa. Thank you so much for that warm invitation and welcoming. It's amazing.
No, I sincerely, genuinely was so excited to speak with you and just have you share your insights, your experiences. I think a lot of people will find this quick conversation very valuable. So I appreciate you taking the
Yeah,
time.
absolutely. We're here to help others, right?
Yes, sir. So before we get into it, just for those who may not know, just introduce yourself. Tell us about your what you're doing. I know you have a few businesses and brands going on, so break it down for us.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So again, I'm Dennis. I run a company called Avas and Concepts, also known as Avis Automation. I've been doing that for close to 20 years now. We've also expanded over the last 5 years, give or take, and we've opened up a plumbing division as well as an electrical division, fully licensed as well. Those are run by my partners. But yeah, me for the automation side, started as audio when I was 12 years old, and then actually into business as of 2004. So yeah, it's not just a business; it's my life, it's my passion, it's my heart. So
Okay, yeah.
counting up to today, I think we're up at I think just around that 700 client mark. So yeah, it's been a
Wow.
long time.
Amazing. I was going to ask you how long you've been in business. I never knew that. 20 years. So did you pass the 20-year anniversary or are we gearing up for it?
You mean the party side?
Yeah, man. Like, I'm still waiting for that invite.
You know what? It's well overdue, man. Maybe we'll wait for the 25.
Nice. That's amazing. So you started your
Yeah.
business in 2004, right?
Yeah.
Officially?
2004 is when I went on my own in the audio video business. And then 2009 is when Avis
Okay.
was created.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got you. Perfect. So, look, there are a few questions I want to ask you here, just about your experiences online and with software, specifically with Jobtable. So, how were you managing your business before using Jobtable?
Before using any new current software, we were just using your simple, I think it was called Simply Accounting, which was essentially just sending out our invoices. And we were literally doing our quotes using Excel. And then from there, it kind of, we upgraded to another proposal software that was specifically just for quotes, but we were still having to use the traditional invoicing from Simply Accounting to do invoicing. To be honest, when I think about what I was doing before and what we're doing now, it's amazing to see how much time was wasted back then and
Yeah.
how much things made things so much more like, I don't know, like it made you not want to do invoicing or quoting because of just the time involved. So we were doing that before. And like I said, we've then upgraded to different quoting softwares until the day that we actually got a software that did everything together.
So it seems like you always knew though that you kind of had to use software. Like you were using some sort of, process or system early on, right?
Right.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. And then, when you're in, it's like a fish in a bowl, right? It doesn't know that it lives in water. So it's the same concept. Whatever you're doing, it's working for you until you continue to develop the business. And it's like, why are we wasting so much energy here? Why do I have to send a quote to my admin to send an invoice? And then that process could take 2 days, depending on what admin is working on. Like it just seems so archaic, but you start to discover that, especially when you're on the ramp up for your business. You want to continue to make things easier and more efficient, right?
Yeah, for sure. So speaking of processes, then specifically, with your experience with Jobtable, what would you say maybe one or two features in Jobtable that have improved your business processes the most?
It's funny. I see a lot of videos with Jobtable putting ads out there, which is fantastic, and talking about some really cool things. There are a lot of cool things, and sometimes you have to mention the most basic ones. But for me, one of the biggest ones was the custom forms. And to just break it down for people that are listening and hearing that, that word for the first time, a custom form is any form that you want to make, whether it's to use for your employees or for your customers, that gives them a special link. And what I find about that custom form, we made one called job request form. And any new customer that comes our way, whether they're from Instagram or a referral from another client, the first thing I do, if they called me, I talk to them. I say, hey, I'm going to send you a text with a link. Fill that out. It'll get you into our system, and then I can send you a quote. And that makes you look so professional. Yes. Not only does it save you time, like, oh, what's your number? What's your email? Oh, is that E? What, did you say A? Like, it's just so archaic to take down information when you say, hey, I'm on the road. I'm going to pull over. I'm going to send you a link. Fill it out. When you get a chance, you'll be in our software, and then I can send you a quote without asking for any information. And before the client meets you, they're like, wow, that's pretty pro.
I love, man, I love asking this question because you hear different things. That one, I've never heard that, but that is such a good use case. And I can totally see how that just enhances your image, that first impression with the client. That's really good. I really like that. Thanks for sharing.
You know what, bro? Not 100%. And not just that, like we have that link saved, right on our phone. So literally I can grab it, copy it, send it. We have it right on our Instagram profile, and we do a lot of ads on Instagram. So now our customers go right to our bio and they send links. I didn't even communicate with them, and they're already sending a project link. And that's huge. And it's a time saver. It's not just something that makes you look pro. It's a time saver.
100%. Yeah, I love that. Super efficient. So speaking on saving time, that definitely can save a lot of time, as you explained. Is there anything else within the software that saves you time?
100%. Another thing is, without mentioning any names, we were using a previous software previous to Jobtable. And listen, it did the job, whatever. But, it had a lot of let's just say cumbersome to it, like just too many clicks to get to a certain spot. Basically a different level of hierarchy that they use in their system. But what saves us a lot of time on Jobtable is when we are billing for a job that's already in progress, it literally takes you nothing to click on that job, click that you want to send an invoice for that job, and then it tells you, well, how much do you want to invoice? That is huge for me. That is massive. Before, we would have to say, okay, here's your quote, here's your deposit. They would give the deposit, and then all of a sudden, that deposit quote is almost like gone. And any progressive payments I wanted to make or send out would have to be like another manual invoice. Yeah. Jobtable perfected the art of saying, this is a job. However you want to bill it doesn't matter. You can bill it as you want, 5%, 10%, 15%. It's actually such a simple concept, but we never had that. And there was a lot of manual invoices having to be done. And people are like, oh, that might not take too much time. Yes, it does, because you got to reference that quote number as well. You can't just send a blank invoice, right? So primo to you guys, fantastic. Kudos to you guys. That part was amazing. I love that part.
I love that. I'm really curious to ask this to you, someone who's used multiple softwares, you're tech savvy, it's kind of in your nature in your business as well. How easy was it to learn and just start using Jobtable?
Honestly, super easy. like super easy. Of course, everyone's gonna be like, oh yeah, they're saying that because they want to push a product, 100%. But the reality is that it is super easy. The second that you open up Jobtable, you literally get some colorful squares that literally are so easy on the eyes. It's like looking at my wife. She's very easy on the eyes. You know, it's this color for quotes, this color for invoices, this color for this jobs, whatever. And you're just clicking on what you want to see. It's as simple as that. You know, and for me, a lot of people may or may not do this, but for me, I use that amazing dashboard that just pops up when I log in on my phone. I use that to see like, hey, who did I quote in the last 10 days that I didn't get a notification of, that didn't open their quote or open their quote and didn't send me the deposit? Let me follow up with them. So it's not just about sending a quote and sending an invoice. If you're really there to make sure your customers, you know, number one, are engaged, number two, that are getting the information you're sending them, you're taking time in the day, like I am right now, going through that list. Click on quotes, which ones were viewed, which ones weren't. And either one of them, follow up with all those clients, like where are we at, right? So
Yeah.
it was a very easy thing to take on, and I think especially nowadays, across, you know, almost, I'm going to say almost all generations, we've kind of been almost force fed the idea of apps and touching screens, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I think that if you've already gone to the point that you can manage an app on your phone, you're going to have no problem with Jobtable,
Yeah.
right? Like you're going to have no problem at all.
Love that. Speaking on what you just said there, I've been having this conversation with a lot of contractors recently. I can't tell you how many contractors just leave so much money on the table when they send a quote. They just send it and that's it. They don't follow up. They don't communicate after. Like that client, like you've lost that client. Like so many contractors are leaving money on the table, and I think it's because they just don't have like a proper system, a process to just manage quotations properly. Like it's quite mind-boggling.
I couldn't agree more. And I think that if somebody were to be a fly on the wall while I'm here at my office, they don't want to see me on the road. Trust me. But you know, my office is my car is my second office. But when I'm at the office or I'm in the zone, people don't understand what I do to follow up with clients. And it doesn't take much. As a matter
Yeah.
of fact, it doesn't take much to put a few extra line items in your quote explaining your vision on something. You know, you'd be surprised how it takes 2 words, sometimes 1 word, to just make a customer be like, wow, this person said something a lot different than the other people. And that really intrigued me. Because at the end of the day, it's all black and white, man. It's all just black ink on a white paper. And what are you doing to separate yourselves from the others? And
Yeah.
that's why even in Jobtable, we have the ability of changing or modifying the email body that goes to the customer when they get your quote. You know, and you'd be surprised that everyone's looking at that before they scroll down to click on your quote. So when you get to put a little note in there, even if it says something, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, you know, I just want to let you know, you might see this quote as a little higher, but I've included XYZ. We can take this out if you like, but I'd rather show you everything and then take it from there. Then the customer's like, wow, this guy's being honest, you know? So,
So true. Yeah.
yeah,
It's funny. It's the little things like that that make the difference between converting whatever 10% to like
sales, yeah,
20%. You know what I mean? It's the little things. Compounded is just what makes you convert and get more jobs, you know?
100%. And that's why I mean, like, I always say to people, like, you might see this, you might see Instagram, you might see me driving this new car, whatever, doesn't matter. You don't see the hours I put in, and you
Yeah.
don't see the effort I put in for every single quote. Like, I literally put out a quote the other day for $150. I wouldn't even open my eyes for $150, but it's not the value. It's the customer. That's the value.
Yeah.
It's not the
Love it.
numbered value. You know, you follow up and you follow up. How can we make this better? Is this good for you? Just, but that's what business is all about, right? So yeah, your software can be fantastic, but you also got to put in that work as well. And with Jobtable, it's all there for you. You see what you've collected. It's got reports. You can see everything. It's all right there. So you can't complain now that it takes too much work.
Yeah, totally. That's a very important message. I'm glad you mentioned that for sure. There's a lot of
100%.
contractors out there who when they think software, they kind of get overwhelmed. They think it's a big process to change your systems. It's a lot of this like can't teach an old dog new tricks mentality in this industry. So what would
Right.
you say to contractors out there who might still be hesitant or on the fence about implementing any new software for their business? What would you say to those people?
I would say um, put on your big boy pants or your big girl pants and get to it. And if you can order Uber Eats, you can use Jobtable. Like seriously, like what's the hesitation? You're quick to order that pizza from Uber Eats. Trust me, you could have sent out a quote in the same amount of time. It's funny though, and that was a great question, Costa, because so many trades rely on software for so many things. People in the alarm industry, they had to learn a software to program alarm systems, and to them, they're like, oh yeah, that software is easy. I teach it to my clients. Yeah. And so is this software that can save you an enormous amount of time. So it's like, I almost feel like there's this stigma of accounting as like a word that it just, it takes time, or I do it when I have time. So I do it when I get home. Well, how about if you can do that in a parking lot before you got home in a fraction of the time? And now you're not looking at Saturdays as, oh, those are the days where I take 4 hours and I do all my billing. Your billing should be done like ASAP, fast, like on the spot. You can literally go take a poop, and while you're pooping, send out an invoice or send out a quote, and you're done. Like literally you can come out and the client's like, oh, I got your invoice. Okay, pay me,
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that.
My verbiage is a little unhinged. I get it,
No,
but it's true, man. It's like,
it's gold, man. It's
you
so
know,
true. What you said about accounting, the amount of conversations I have with contractors every single day who just think like basic things like sending a quote, sending an invoice, it affects your accountant, or like they overthink it, and they rely on like their accountant so much. But like you said, I think it's just like a word that a lot of guys, a lot of girls are overthinking for whatever reason. Like it's not that complicated. Like
yeah,
you said, you can be on the toilet and do your quote unquote accounting if you wanted to, you know?
right. Yeah, and listen, at the end of the day, every business, depending on their level, should or will have an accountant, and that's just for different aspects of the business. But your day to day in and out quotes, landing it, turning it into a job, billing it when you're done. That's, to me, that's actually just that's your job flow. That's your
Exactly.
everyday job flow, in and out, in and out.
Exactly.
Your accounting, should you get your accountant, or you have, like, if you have an accountant month to month, or you have an accountant at the end of the year doing your corporate taxes, whatever, that's one thing. But your day to day should be on you, or you and your team, whoever's involved. And it should just be, honestly, just an easy transition, just in and out, boom, 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 boom.
100%. Dennis, I would love to keep this going, man. I don't want to take up more of your time. I see you're in the office and you're busy, but
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. If someone wanted to learn more about you, find you, where's the best place to find you online?
Best place is going to be Instagram at Avas_concepts. Best place.
Amazing, amazing. Dennis, thanks again, man. Really appreciate it. And
You're welcome. My
we'll definitely
pleasure.
do this again.
For sure, man. Listen, I'm going to leave you with one more thing.
Yes.
I have a million things to do every single day, just like all of us business owners do. The last thing I need is quotes and invoicing taking up that time. And I honestly,
Amazing.
before you got on
Let's
this
wrap it
call,
with that.
I swear to you, I'll tell you, I got 6 quotes sent out within, like, I don't know, 40 minutes. And that's because I also do research when I do quotes. So if they were simpler quotes, they would have been done in 10 minutes. So I just wanted to leave you
I
with
love
that.
it. I love it.
And that's it.
Perfect way to wrap it up, man. I love it. Dennis, you're the
Awesome.
man. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Costa. All right, buddy.
All right.